The vehicle that's been attracting all of the attention in off-road racing this year is the Motorrad Revo 4x4 driven by Evan Hutchison and Achim Bergman. It also happens to have been the vehicle that won the championship, which is why we've decided to come to Rally Star to get a sense of what it's like to drive. The Motorrad Revo 1 is a uniquely South African design developed and built at the team's Kailani workshops by Achim Bergman and Stuart Thompson. It's powered by a 6.8-litre Chev V8 engine, which, although capable of producing 356 kilowatts at the wheels, has been limited to 233 kilowatts through the fitment of a mandatory 37mm air intake restrictor. It's also four-wheel drive, which is highly unusual in the special vehicle category it competes in. The gearbox is a sequential SADF unit, which is also used by the SP-class production vehicles. Hutchison's previous steed was the two-wheel drive BAT Spec 3, which we drove last year, but the Revo 1 is the result of a completely different approach. Take us back to the whole thought process behind this vehicle. Quite a departure from the norm, very different from what you used to compete in before. So how did it all start and why?
We had built a couple of the two-wheel drives, putting bigger and bigger engines, and just getting more and more wheel spin. And you were limited by a two-wheel drive. And Achim building some SPs. He was busy with a Toyota SP, the first one. Obviously, as you build it, you start thinking more and more about putting a four-wheel drive special together. So that's where the idea started. Near the end of last year, we thought, well, it's time to try. It's time for a four-wheel drive in specials.
The Revo 1 looks very different to any of the normal special vehicle contenders, with a robust, almost menacing look created by substantial bodywork. And under the skin, it employs a lot of components already tried and tested in the SP-class production vehicles. But what are the benefits offered by the new car?
Traction, you've got just unbelievable traction and acceleration, and through the corners you just got so much traction that the corner speeds are increased dramatically. So in the two-wheel drives, those huge engines, you're spinning your wheels and you're managing that traction the whole day. This car, you're racing the car the whole day. You're looking for seconds in every corner. You've got the traction, you're setting the car up just to go quicker and quicker. So it's taken us to a level where you get more out of your vehicle.
The Revo 1 took the specials category by storm in the 2009 APSA Off-Road Championship. Despite competing in its first season and still under constant development, it hit winning form almost from the outset and took the championship with a race to spare. Now, you've had an unbelievably reliable year, and yet it's kind of been a development and testing year for you. How did you manage to get those two elements to work so closely together?
I think all thanks has to go to Achim. In building the car, it is difficult, and anybody who's built a car will understand that building a new car and developing a new car is going to be difficult. But if you get the right people to do the job and you put in enough homework, and which obviously we did, you can be successful like that. We were very, very lucky, but the luck has come with the effort that we've put in. We've got the right backing to be able to go make those right decisions, and they worked out in our favour.
While Hutchison is the man behind the wheel of the Revo 1, Navigator Bergman has played a pivotal role in the Motorrad outfit's success in 2009. Occupying the left seat is only one of his many responsibilities. Quite a benefit to have somebody who's been that closely involved with designing the car, actually navigating for you. And obviously Achim plays a bigger role than just pointing the way.
Yeah, he plays a pivotal role in the team. I'm very, very fortunate in that I can have somebody who's raced with me, navigates with me. When we go back to the workshop and start looking at ideas on what to build and how to build it, we talk about it together. There's not my opinion of what happens out there, and I'll try and relate that back to him. He knows exactly what the car goes through. He understands the forces. He understands, it's hard to explain to someone when you hit a rock, how hard was it and what caused this damage, where he understands that 100%. He's been in the car with me for 3 or 4 years now.
It was with some initial trepidation that I wedged myself into Evan's seat and took the Revo 1 for a test drive. But it didn't take long to get comfortable with the beast. Despite all that power, it was a lot more benign and user-friendly than I expected. In fact, there's a lot about the Revo that reminds me of the SP-class production buckies that I've driven. The Revo feels more agile than the Buckies, but it's light years ahead of the two-wheel drive Motorride Bat Spec 3 despite the relative reduction in power. The steering is responsive and direct, although you need to get used to managing a fair amount of understeer in the tight stuff. It's glorious in faster sweeps where you can balance throttle and steering to hold the line, and that gearbox is simply superb. In fact, I enjoyed the Revo once so much that it took some persuasion to get me to stop. If I sound a little out of breath, that's because this car's so fast that it's really hard to try and catch up. Now, it's only the second or third time that I've driven a special vehicle, and this is a very special, if you like, four-wheel drive. Quite a lot of SP-like characteristics, and partly very similar to what I expected and partly very different. Certainly quick, a lot of traction from the four-wheel drive, a bit more understeer than I expected, which means you've got to be a bit more circumspect than I was at times through the tight stuff, but really clean out, a very sweet, very crisp engine. Of course, the brilliant SATIF gearbox, which means if you do misjudge a corner, you can just hit another gear, pull yourself through, and I could spend the whole day driving this car. A very sorted, very spectacular car, and we've been privileged to drive it. For Hutchison, Bergman and the Motorride team, 2009 has been a dream season in which they campaigned a brand new car and subsequently dominated the special vehicle category. With one championship in the bag, what's on the radar screen for 2010?
You'll start the year off at the beginning of with Revo. There'll be some more quite dramatic rule changes again, so we're going to lose our big V8 engine, and we're going to be running a little 3.5 litre V6 engine. Again, it's to do with weight and the restrictor size. We need to find something that's more efficient. So that's what we'll campaign that for the majority of next year.
To develop a brand new car from scratch and to get it to finish virtually every race in the first season is quite something. To win the championship in your first season is almost unheard of. And that's the achievement not only of this vehicle, but also the people behind it. The Motorride team have established themselves as a force to be reckoned with. And what's going to be interesting is to see how they fare in the 2010 season and what they're going to be coming up with.